That's awesome. So, in case you're new here or you're not used to this type of content in my channel, this is a monthly segment in which I tell you guys more or less what I've been up to, what I've been listening, and what I've been watching, and my honest opinions and reviews on it. This month was pretty packed with work, so the video will be like way shorter than the past one. I think I've only watched like 2 series and only one of them really stands out, and that is Vinland Saga. It revolves around like the Viking era, and the whole story goes around a young boy that was taught by his dad that no one has any enemies, like no one really has enemies, but there's in a war setting. So those two like ideas clash a lot, and it's basically him growing up in a harsh environment, trying to internalize what his dad taught him, but not really doing it because the setting they're in doesn't allow him to freely go like, oh yeah, no enemies. They're in the middle of a war, so. Both the animation and the plot sort of like flag a little bit around the middle third, but since it's not very long, it ends up not being an issue or not being very noticeable. When it comes to music, I don't know if there just wasn't a lot released during September, or I didn't pay attention to a lot, but the one thing that stood out the most was the album While We Wait by Smolder. It's honestly like a show of versatility, and the writing is impeccable. My favorite track, or the one that like speaks the most to me, is Chameleon, mostly because there's like a really big I stand tall type of vibe. Like you can't see me or you choose not to see me, but I'm still here and you don't get to pick like what you see next. It's let's say a much needed artistic freedom showcase. I think that's a good way of explaining it. I don't know, it's music. Besides that, I haven't really been watching any movies or checking out anything apart from the work that I'm doing right now that unfortunately I cannot spoil. You guys will see at some point. Here's an update on my mints. They're looking pretty nice. They have their own pots now, and everything else I planted died, cause you know. So last but not least, as I did last month, there was a little theme at the end of the video just cause I didn't want to like end it just like that. So, as you probably guessed by the title, it must have been pretty obvious. I'm gonna dabble a little bit in valuing your art. I'm not gonna go a lot into details because, you know, it's something I'll mention in detail if you guys want me to. But this is to my creative peers, acquaintances, friends, so on and so forth. I think I got asked maybe 3 or 4 times, but by some of my closest friends that also draw or also do creative stuff, like how I price my art and what I do when there's like a client that actively wants to lower a lot the price of a piece. So here's the thing, your art has a price and has a value. The price is like, okay, you need a certain amount of cash to cover up all the materials that you used. Great, you set up that price, but there's more. There's your time, there's your effort, there's your energy. And when I say time, it's not only the time and effort and energy that you put into that piece, it's also those same things that are put outside of your work. Especially if you work with your hands, you need to hone your skills, you need to perfect your craft. So you will spend an extra amount of time and effort making sure that everything is like in tip-top shape and practicing and getting new skills and things like that. And that also has its own value. But I've never seen your pieces before. Great, here's my portfolio, look at it. Did you like it? Yes, here's my price. Oh, but it's the first time I'm working with you. It's like, yeah, it's the first time I'm working with you too. Nice to meet you, here's my prize. And on that note, no client is ever your last client, unless you decide to stop doing what you're doing. Never be afraid to say no to a client, because your value is your value and nobody can take that from you. And on that note, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. And I'll see you next time. Bye.